Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign. Then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Death card, which seems pretty fitting, as today is the first day of the new year and we are putting away old things and looking forward. Okay, let's take a look at what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell and I'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And I will just apologize here at the beginning if my voice sounds strange, if I'm sniffling, if I'm coughing. Unfortunately, we've had ailment after ailment these past almost a month, I would say. We're getting better and then caught something at Christmas. So that's how it goes sometimes. Okay. All right, so I want to start with this side here, okay, and I have, it looks like a person who is holding maybe a rooster on their arm. You can see kind of the head and the back, or the neck there in the back. We have the person here, their arm out, and it looks like they may even have a, excuse me, they even may have a boar of some kind down here, which also like a pig, right? And we have a 2 that seems very apparent. And so let's talk about that. The rooster, definitely a sign of kind of a wake up, right? And a little bit of an alarm. And this makes sense. We're at the beginning of this new cycle, right? Collectively, we all are. And I see this is I would imagine this is a beautiful, beautiful rooster indeed. And I see when we have the pig, it is of abundance, right? But especially when it's like a boar, okay, this is an animal that is very loyal to their pack, to their little grouping. They protect their own. They are wild, quite wild. They will definitely attack you if you get in their way, but usually they just are kind of going about their business. They're an abundant creature, not unlike the rabbit or other animals that propagate pretty quickly. Here in North America, wild pigs have been introduced, during the colonization, really, and they have taken over parts of the southern states, as far as I've heard, anyways. I've heard people talk about this. They kind of roam around in big groups and can be a bit of a menace, but really there is this enduring quality, this quality of community, of strength in numbers, and so on. So I feel like going into this new year, there really is this kind of turn towards finding your, power place, really getting into that mentality of nothing is going to stop you. You're going to be doing the things that you need to do. You have the support of your loved ones, of your immediate community. And, I feel like you are meeting this this new day, this, this new era, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? I think you are ready for it. You're ready for this change. And this really is going to be your year, I hope. And now down here we do have the skull and crossbones, okay? And the death card, often when we pull it, we think, oh, geez, what now? What's going to happen? What's going on? Well, I myself, when I pull it in my personal readings that I do for myself every morning, I pull a few cards to see kind of what shall be the focus of my day, what might meet me. And when I get a death card, I know, although it might not be easy, I know that I will be in the process of or coming to an end of something. And more often than not, these are things that do not serve me any longer. Okay, these are things that we can cling to because they're familiar. They feel right, even if they don't make sense anymore. I'll tell you one thing. Here's my kind of death card that's happened recently, is that I am a really, really devoted coffee drinker. Now, it doesn't serve me well because I get anxiety sometimes from it, I shouldn't say I get anxiety from it. It makes my anxiety feel a little more prominent. Okay. It's also not good for my blood pressure, and sometimes, I'll have a long day and then I do my readings, I drink a little coffee, and then all this tea that I drink, and then I can't go to sleep. I know better, but, I choose against myself sometimes. And so anyhow, I've been sick. And I really have not been drinking that much coffee. And I'll tell you what, I haven't felt well, but I've been busy, as we all have been, and we all stay busy. And letting go of the coffee hasn't been that big of a deal. Do I miss, having it throughout the day? Yeah, I do. And I've still been having a cup in the morning. But I feel like this will be my end card for this next year. This is the thing I'm going to focus on, letting go. And it's been something I've been putting off for a long time. Okay. So sometimes, yeah, these are hard endings. These are things that, we like to hang on to. But I'll tell you what, even my sister, and I don't think she'd mind me telling you this, is that she's also a coffee person, but she also gets migraines. And she quit her coffee, I think over a year ago, maybe even longer. And she's had better, it's been better since, in moderation. I'm sure she's had some there, here or there. But, and so it's hard to let go of these habits, but sometimes we just got to find a way to make them a little less. And sometimes we will surprise ourselves when something happens that we don't want to. I didn't want to get sick, but it has been the catalyst for some change, which I appreciate. Making a little bit of silver lining, right? Okay, so let's see, what else do we have here? I see it looks like a mouth, sort of. And I feel like it's a pair of lips. And I feel like, this is really going to be a time for you to be exploring maybe your relationship, your romantic relationship, your domestic relationship, or maybe you're going to be dating. I do really feel that there's a sense of sensuality, really kind of feeling yourself, feeling good about yourself, feeling like you are interested in being maybe a little more connected in these, amorous ways. And you know, I think that that is something that maybe you hadn't been focused on recently. You've been grinding away, doing your stuff, and you know, through the readings, oh, this last year has been a big movement towards putting yourself first and prioritizing your wellness. And so I feel like it makes sense that in these, you know, weeks, months after so much, I would say self-evolution, really, that it would feel nice, you know, to focus on some of those kind of interpersonal relationships and even some of those romantic and physical relationships as well. Okay, so now I'm seeing we have a person here who looks to be kind of tangled with a beast of some kind. I thought, oh, this looks kind of like a lion, maybe, right here. And then we have a person who's kind of, you know, moved forward in a kind of grappling position here. And so I do think with that, and with the lion, you know, I think there is a sense of, well, of course, solar energy, fiery energy, physical energy. And I think that this is really kind of the passions igniting. And I think that for one reason or another, this is something that I think sometimes it can be difficult for you to allow yourself the space and time to really indulge in these places. I think there's almost a sense of feeling like this isn't something that this isn't something I have time for. This is something, you know, that it's like the 5th, 6th, 7th thing in my priorities right now. And I feel like, you know, even if it isn't with another person, but being with yourself and you know, just feeling good about your, you know, your body, your, like I said, sensuality, about your, you know, I don't know, whatever it is that you're interested in, feeling, you know, intelligent and charming and connected with other beings, and, or like I said, with yourself, you know. Sometimes I think, you know, especially if you have a family, if you are busy with work and all the other things, it can be one of the last things that we really, I mean, let's be real. It's one that's sometimes like, okay, and now we'll get to this. But also I'd like to take a little break and get off my feet for a few minutes, and, you know, and then it's like it's overtaken by all the other things of the day, and maybe having 5 minutes to yourself, right? So I think that there is a sense of going back and forth, but this is going to be your time. Okay, I think that this cycle is going to allow for you to really have that motivating spirit. Like, okay, I'm going to make this my year. I'm going to get my groove back, right? I'm going to really focus on having that what is it? You know, just that oomph back into my being, right? And you know, I know it's not easy, but when the inspiration strikes, we should take it. Okay? And so this also turns into a beautiful temple if we hold it back and we see the doorway here. Okay, so this really, I feel, leads us all back to this feeling of wholeness, a completeness, growing from the inside out, right? It's not just about having, you know, the right clothes or, you know, you're in the physical shape that you is an ideal for you, or, you know, being able to, you know, be with the person that you want to be all the time, or whatever it is, you know. But I think that often when we find the things that are attractive about other people, right? The things that we are attracted to, and we find those things within ourselves and we cultivate them. That feels really nice. And then, you know, we explore. You go into yourself. You explore these places. You think about the beloved, the divine, what aspects of, you know, your belief, your spirituality, what makes you feel safe, what activates you, you know, what really kind of gets the blood flowing throughout. And then, you know, we really implement these places in our own being. Spend time with them. Spend time with them, you know. And then I think that's how, you know, that's just a little fragment, of course, but this is how we begin to not only be able to listen to ourselves, but fall in love, right? I think as maybe just getting into being an older person, I've found, you know, I've always heard people say your 30s are for like kind of getting it together, figuring out, you know, who you are. And then you get older and you start to settle in a bit, you know where you want to go to some degree, you know, your passions and these things. So I feel like I feel more settled than ever, safe and about my business, right, than I ever have been. But I also just really, I know what I've been out in the world, I've seen, you know, and I bring back with me the knowledge of what I feel is beautiful. And so I implement that into my life through kindness, through generosity, for showing up for people, you know, saying what I mean, meaning what I say, being, you know, these kinds of things. And I work on it. I struggle. Don't get me wrong, but I know that this is what is important to me. This is what I find attractive about the world, about the divine, about the beloved. And so, going into this temple, becoming our own temple, right? Being our own home, feeling like when we return to ourselves in those quiet moments that we are home. We get off of work, we do our errands, we get home, we take off our shoes, we let our hair down, and that is our home, right? It's not the place that we're in necessarily, but it is us. And so, you know, I think this is a beautiful, beautiful little time we have coming up, Sagittarius. I can imagine the feelings, the, you know, the shifting waters, the emotionality, those moments of really feeling, you know, bliss in your discoveries. Now we have a Z here by the door. We also have a T up here. We have a bird kind of in a seated position looking down. So I see that we have a messenger waiting to bring you a message as things come together. So make sure that you keep your eyes and ears open, because that will be coming. Okay, let's take a look up here. Okay. I cannot hear out of my right ear at all, so I'm trying to be quiet with taking a sip of my drink, but I don't know if I am being quiet. Okay, so we have a little bird up here, and this looks like a water bird. So something like a stork or a heron or, you know, something like this. But it looks like it's in a seated position. And we also have a cat, and we have a person who is looking up. So we have contemplation from two different animals. If you think of these lake birds, I like to call them lake birds because I'm near a lot of lakes. But you know, they're water birds. They're in a lot of different waterways and some even in the inlets of the ocean and such. And so we look at them, and I always think of them as the great contemplators. They stand and they hang out. Sometimes they're standing on one foot, just waiting to use the other one to grab. And they wait for their catch. And they'll be out there for long periods of time. They're beautiful to watch. So I feel that there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of moving inward, a sense of serenity. Now we know cats are a lot the same. They love to just hang out, although my two, if you know them, if you've been here before, you probably do. They're pretty active, even Pudgy for being almost 17 years old here in a couple months. He'll be 17 years old. But they do. Cats, you know, they kind of hang out. They think about things. They look at the macrobes on the wall. They see things we probably don't, I imagine. So we do have but there's also a fierce independence there. I feel so much that you Sagittarius people here have been really moving towards this time of a great self-awareness. Okay, being fully self-embodied, and you know, this can be something that those who have been around you might think, wow, what's going on with them? They're, you know, seem really selfish and just, you know, doing their own thing. And, you know, all they care about is what they're doing. And, you know, maybe in some ways that's true. But you know what? Sometimes we need to go through periods of living like that. These cycles aren't always perfect. But we go through them and we process them, and then we temper ourselves and we figure out how things work and balance with everything. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a little bit selfish, especially as you are growing as a being. And now we have this person down here, and I feel like almost a sense of kind of praying to the moon or beneath the stars and casting your wishes, your prayers, your devotionals. And I see kind of the lunar qualities pulling you, kind of calling to you. And so I feel that, you know, maybe you should be spending some time trying to get out there at night, look at the stars, just see what you can see, let your mind wander, see where it goes. And, you know, as much as you can, make that a bit of a practice, you know, a couple times a week. It doesn't have to be, you know, very long, maybe 5 minutes or whatever you can manage. And, you know, this might be a really good place for you to do some of that contemplation we were talking about. Okay, so now we're going to look at the Happier Me affirmation cards. And I'm just going to kind of flip here. And it says, creative energy surges through me and leads me to new and brilliant ideas. We've all been given the gift of creativity and imagination. Focus on accepting that you are a limitless spiritual being, and your imagination will flourish. Yes, limitless spiritual being. And so it is. Okay, Sagittarius, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. Hopefully we'll be feeling better pretty soon here. My goodness, I feel like I got through all the stuff for the holidays and then it just hit me. It's like I knew. My body just knew. Okay, now you can really get sick. So we'll see how this week goes of readings and stuff. I don't know, but I'm going to do my best to stay on task here, stay on our routine and schedule. So if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel a lot. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all and I cherish them. I'm thankful for them. I absolutely adore you all. And one of the biggest blessings of my life is really, you know, the connections I've made through this channel. So, Sagittarius, we'll talk in a few days. I thank you. I love you. Happy New Year. It's going to be a good one. Yes.